in this month's episode, there is no special guest. I was going to have somebody on, but unfortunately, his recording failed, and so because his recording was not able to properly record, I was not able to include him in this month's episode, but he'll be on for the April episode, so I do apologize for that. This will end up being a shorter episode because of that, but hopefully you all enjoy the episode anyway. With that being said, enjoy the rest of the show. What is up there, everybody? Citrus Aviation here with yet another model aircraft news this month. This is the combined February-March episode, and today we are going to cover a lot of interesting aviation news in the model aircraft segment. So for those of you who are new to the show, this is mostly a show where we talk about 1/400 and 1/200 scale commercial die-cast model aircraft collecting. At some point, this show will also be expanding to cover more military and other scales as well, but for now, that's just basically where the show's been, and it will continue to cover these topics in depth as well. For our headline news, we have the subject of broken models, something that has been featured as a headline news item for many episodes. I think we've done like half the episodes of broken models, at least talked about in the episode. And I just wanted to do like a wide-scale discussion about broken models, because at this point, it's fairly obvious the problem isn't with Gemini jets or with just NG models or any of the major manufacturers. I think a lot of the issue with broken models has to do with the reality of the complexity of the models that are being sold today. So with older models, like we might have had like 10, 15, 20 years ago, they were very simple aircraft. You had fuselage, you had your single cradle mold wing, you had your horizontal and vertical stabilizers and your landing gears and your engines, and that was basically it. And so those models were fairly simple to make. You just put them together, just painted them, or well, really use tampo painting, and then they shipped them out to the customer. Now, a lot of modern models have rolling landing gears with real rubber tiles. They have aerials such as antennas, SATCOM boxes, dual lights. They have fuel drain valves, all sorts of details that are added onto the plane. And all of this adds complication to the aircraft and makes it more likely that something is going to break. In addition, several model aircraft manufacturers, Gemini jets mostly, have decided to use a lower quality of glue. Now this lower quality of glue, the thinner glue application, results in the glue not being as strong and much more likely to break free, which has caused a lot more models to come broken. And this is just really a reality of the current situation. Now I do think that a lot of these issues can be avoided by the companies just using better quality glue or doing actual proper quality inspections. And NG Models has generally done a pretty good job of that, particularly in comparison to what Gemini Jets does. Gemini Jets, they just order a model and they literally don't care. They'll ship it out to you even if they know it's broken. Whereas NG Models, they actually have shown that they will actually take back a batch and redo it if there's an issue. For example, the very first batch of Southwest 737-700s was recalled by NG Models, and they did a second one because of some issues. Now, the second batch still had some issues, but the second one was much better than the first batch. And so that's why some models like that were delayed a little bit, because of some batching issues. But overall, broken models is just more of a reality of the current situation than it being just an issue with a single manufacturer. Ultimately, you're buying a representation of an airplane. Now obviously there's going to be some errors that happen because it's 400 scale or 200 scale, it's really tiny. But when you have Gemini Jets making the A320 Neo Ultra Pro Max Edition engines and the WingFlex Pro Max wings, you have some models that are kind of laughably unrealistic. And that's just something that Gemini Jets has shown no effort in trying to fix. Like, NG Models, this is something that I think makes them better than Gemini Jets. And this is officially my position now that NG Models is better than Gemini Jets. And that's just simply because they have a lot more molds now that you can buy from, and they actually improve their molds over time when they have issues that pop up. So people give them criticism and feedback on, oh, the landing gear height is just a little bit too tall on the 737. And what you know, a few months later, they fixed it. And that is something that Gemini Jets has just shown no effort in doing. And so instead of Gemini Jets fixing their issue, they'll just make other models. when they get too much criticism for the A320. Oh, you don't like our CFM engines? Well, here, take some of the IAE engines instead. And so that strategy from Gemini Jets, I think, just doesn't work. I don't think it's a very good one, but it's one that they choose to do anyway. So that is our little discussion there on broken model airplanes. I fully expect us to be making more content about this topic because I fully expect more model airplanes to come broken, as several manufacturers, in particular, I really think Panda Models is really struggling with this. They've been struggling to keep up the quality with the incredibly increasing level of details and parts being put into the models. So that's my opinions there. And we're going to move on to mold news. Now we have some very exciting mold updates coming up. We have 3 molds we're going to talk about. There is the updated Aviation 400 Airbus 380, which I'm kind of excited for because I want a Korean Air A380. Please make that right away. And a Singapore one too. And then we have the Gemini 200 Twin Otter and the Gemini 200 C5M Galaxy. Those couldn't be 2 more different aircraft, but Gemini Jets is making them. And so I'm really excited to see those planes coming out in 200 scale. I don't think we'll ever see a Twin Otter on 400 scale just because of how tiny that model is going to be. But as a 200 scale product, I think it's really cool. And it has the opportunity to make a lot of retro and even some modern aircraft. That'll be great. They are the C5M Galaxy, fairly obvious. You're going to see a bunch of US Air Force ones, and I think that will be a very popular model. The Aviation 400 A380, this mold that we're seeing, I'm showing some clips here from yesterday's airlines, but this will be the updated version of the mold. And they've made some nice little changes to it to make it even more realistic, and this should be the best A380 mold out there. The ones that exist right now, a Phoenix mold is okay, the Gemini Jets JC Wings mold is alright, but there really haven't been any super well molded A380 molds made. In addition, the Gemini Jets and Phoenix molds tend to have an issue where they tend to kind of sit on the middle of the aircraft and kind of tilt backwards too much to where the nose gear just kind of is lifted up. Yeah, like mine doesn't really have that issue so much. At some angles it still does tilt back a little bit. It's better, but it'll be interesting to see if Aviation 400's mold doesn't ever have this issue at all. So it'll be interesting to see if they do that. And they seem to be taking a long time to make this mold, probably because they want to get it right. So Aviation 400 molds, when they come out, they tend to be incredible. And so I fully expect this mold to be excellent. And so that's my thoughts on the 3 new molds that are coming out. So with releases, we have 3 to talk about, and we're going to do the NG Models releases together here. We're going to do the March 2022 set. That set was released on February the 9th, 2022, and then the NG Models April release set was released on March the 9th, 2022. So literally exactly a month apart for both releases. And these releases introduced the very first 777s for NG Models. They announced 2 of them. They announced in the March set the Fantasy Cathay Pacific 777, which looks really cool. And then they're going to do the United Star Alliance 777-200ER. So this will be a nice model. This one has the GE engines, I believe. But it looks really good. And I'm really excited to see both of these come out, to see how the 777 looks in real life. Stay tuned as I have some special content coming with the 777. But a lot of other good models in here. We got the American 737-800s, One World, and the new winglet variant, which I have seen in real life. We have the Missouri 1 in both Scimitars and standard winglets. The Transavia 737s, I'm pretty sure those will be very popular with European collectors. That has not been made in a long time. We had a few A350s. The Jet 2 Holidays models I think will be popular as well. Just a lot of really good stuff for collectors from I think most regions of the world. We have some Europeans, we have some Asians, we have some North Americans. This is one of the nice things that NG Models does better than I think any other manufacturer, is they balance their releases for literally everybody. And so I think both these release sets show a very nice balance. For me personally, out of these sets, I'm getting the 2 American 738, the Cathay 777, both the Southwest 737 Missouri ones, the Delta 737-700, because I'm a Delta collector of course, the United 777, and the Air France 350. I do have the Gemini Jets Air France 350, but the NG Models one should be really nice and will be perfect for Atlanta. Next release batch we have here is from Gemini Jets, and there's a lot of models in here. I think this was actually a pretty good release. It's actually the first time in a while I think they've done a proper balanced release with planes from around the world. Highlight models for this one, at least for me, the ones that I'm going to buy will be the US Air Force KC-135. This one is in an Air Force base they have not done yet. Seymour Johnson, so that'll be really awesome. The Breeze 195 I picked up, and the American 170 Retro. The 170 Retro is based out of Chicago, as are all the former British Airways 170s, and then they fly out of Chicago to destinations. Well, Des Moines is one of the ones that those 6 aircraft fly to quite a bit, particularly on the afternoon flight. And so I've seen this exact Retro plane I think 8 times now at Des Moines, so of course I had to pick it up. And of course I have the Gemini 200 variant coming as well. I am getting the Delta CRJ 700 and 200 scales. I walk on this plane about once a week. I get this plane coming. In fact, I recently did a push on this plane. Pushed it from Charlie 3 going to Minneapolis. So that's really cool. And then the American Chrome, I am probably going to end up buying this one because this plane is so cool. It's going to look so nice in this polished delivery, and one of these in 200 scale has not been made in a very long time, so I will buy this model and it'll be a nice display piece. Some other highlight models are really nice. The JSX Embraer 135 model has never been made in 400 scale. The Luftwaffe 321neo I think is actually really awesome. And then the Scandinavian Air Service 737 I think is an awesome plane. But yeah, overall very good release and a bunch of nice stuff in here. And so, with that being said, I want to thank y'all so much for watching this episode of Model Aircraft News Monthly. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.